guys, thanks for coming back for another review. This is actually not a Marvel Legends review, it's actually a review on the Disney Store exclusive Marvel Select Venom figure. And this is actually the Flash Thompson version of the Venom figure. My name is US Agent 27, and today we're going to take a look at the Venom figure. And I'm actually from the MUCollectorClub.com forums, and if you guys haven't checked this out, I'm going to put a link in our show notes. Make sure you guys come give us a look. And come, join in and start posting some pictures of your collection, or just talk about toys and whatnot, and come see what we're all about. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and take a look at Venom today. Now, I was very excited to hear when this figure was coming out. This is a character that it's a newer character, and I'm all for new characters. I love when they give us new characters right away in figure form. I've seen a lot of customs of this guy. His costume was one I really didn't want to try a custom of, so I was kind of glad that they came out with this. So before we take a look at the figure, I do have the packaging still. I'll give you a quick peek at what that looked like. I'm just gonna move Venom off to the side. And like I said in my last review video, if you guys want to see the packaging more, let me know in the comments. Or if you don't care about the packaging and you just want me to look at the figure, that's fine too. But here's the ginormous package that it comes in. See, it's got the Disney Store exclusive. I got this off of DisneyStore.com for $24 shipped. I ended up getting free shipping. Here's the back of the box. Here's the write-up on it. And then there's a picture of the figure, as he's shown right there. Alright, and basically, this Venom figure is actually not the Venom that we're used to seeing, like Eddie Brock. This is actually Flash Thompson, which if you guys have read any of the comic books or seen any of the movies, Flash was like the athlete that always gave Peter a hard time, and then later on in his life, basically, he had a turn for the worse, and a turn for the better, and he actually became friends with Peter, and he ended up joining, I think, the army, and he got his legs blown off, basically. So the army basically confiscated the Venom symbiote and basically lets Flash use it, and when he uses it, he gets his legs back. But the thing is, he can only use it for, I think, like 24 hours, and then he has to give it back. So the comic is actually pretty cool. I read like the first, I think, 12 issues. I need to go back and finish that. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool. But we're not here to talk about the comic, we're here to talk about the figure. So let's go ahead and start talking about Venom. Before we talk about him, let's talk about what he comes with. The first thing he comes with is this really cool base. I like the Marvel Select bases. I like the fact we get bases. It's got a foot peg, so you can peg them right in, some kind of machinery or whatever. A little coil here and a hose. Oh, sorry, you can't see coil here and hose. Nice silver or nice copper paint right there. Nice detailing down here, and the bottom part is like hollow right there. Base is really cool. Am I gonna have him standing up on this all the time? I don't know. I haven't really decided how I'm gonna pose him yet, but I do like to have the option of having these. If you guys collect mini-mates, these bases are really cool for that too. You can set up a couple mini-mates on this, and it looks really nice. It scales very, very well. Just a little tip. Alright, so that's the base he comes with. I'm gonna set that aside. Next thing he comes with two guns, and he only comes with two. First one is in this little holster down here. Let me just pull that out so we can show you. It's like a M9, I believe. It's like a handgun. It looks like it has a laser sight attached to it. Oh. Nice detailing on the gun. Nice little bits of silver paint detail there. The red on the scope there. On the sight, I should say. A little bit of silver detail there. It fits in his holster really nice too, and we'll kind of go over that when we talk about the articulation of the figure. The other gun he comes with is just like a revolver or a 357. And if I'm wrong on the gun types, guys, let me know in the comments. I'm not a gun expert by any means. I've fired a number of guns, but I'm not an expert. Nice detailing on it. It looks really cool. So those are the guns he comes with. As far as the figure is concerned, the sculpt, let's start there. The sculpt on this guy is phenomenal. He is incredible. He's an incredible sculpt. One of the probably the most beautiful figures I've ever seen. You could tell they put a lot of work into him. From sculpting on these pieces right here, to sculpting on his forearms, and I don't know if you guys can see it, but he's got like little spikes all over him. He's got spikes on his elbow pads, spikes on his knee pads. The holster that they gave him was really cool. The belt that they gave him, I don't think it's removable, but it does move around easy. The collar piece that they gave him, the head sculpt they gave him was really nice. Really, really amazing sculpt on this figure. I think that probably this is one of the best sculpted Marvel Select figures, or possibly Marvel Legends figures I've ever seen. It looks like a custom that you would see on eBay. It's that good. Not that, the figures that come out aren't good, but this is incredible. Really, really dig it. Love the sculpt on this guy. Alright, let's talk about paint. Alright, so paint on the figure, on mine anyway, is pretty flawless. The head has the proper paint application around the eyes. One of the other people on our forums, the mucollectorclub.com, said that they had an issue with that, where it was missing some of the white paint. Mine looks like it was perfect. The rest of it is pretty easy. I mean, it's white and black, basically. But the black on it, like right here, has like a dry brushing in it, and it looks great. He's got nice paint on his boots. Let's see if you guys can kind of see that. Really nice paint detail. Definitely love the paint on him. So far we have a really nice painted figure, a really nice sculpted figure. How does it stand up for articulation? That's what we really want to know. I'm just going to show you, and then I'll give my opinion at the end. So his head. Head goes up about that far. It's on a hinge, but it's kind of actually it goes up further than that. So you can kind of get it all the way up, which is good. It will go down about that far. It basically stops when it hits that piece right there. It will go side to side, no problem. So good range of movement on the head, like that. His chest, he doesn't have an ab crunch. He has an upper chest joint. This is similar to like what we see on Marvel Universe figures. So it goes side to side. And you probably can get it all the way around. I'm not going to mess with that one, Mike, because I don't want to scrape the paint. Has a waist swivel. Again, you want to watch that because of the belt piece, but he does have it, so that works out well. Real quick, I want to show you guys this. On his vest that he wears. Let's see if the camera's going to pick that up. Trust me, guys, this will be worth it. They painted the little silver buckle right there, and look at that. Look at that strap that's going over there. That is an amazing piece of sculpt right there. Sorry, just wanted to show that off. Alright. So let's talk about his arm articulation. See these pieces up here? They go up and down. Kind of like if you guys have the, what do you call it? The Iron Man from the movie line and the Armored Adventures Iron Man, how those little pieces will flip up and down to allow his ball joints to kind of go up. So then they can just kind of rest. So that kind of works in this scenario. It doesn't look too bad. Put that one all the way up. He has a swivel at the upper bicep. Single joint at the elbow. And this is where we run into problems. Now, double jointed elbows aren't always necessary, and this figure doesn't suffer too badly from it. But, if we have the option of getting those, I'd much rather have the double jointed elbows. And then he doesn't have a rotation up at the top of the forearm. It's actually just at the wrist. We'll swivel around. His wrist doesn't go back and forth, so there's no wrist hinge. His hand is molded into and it's got the trigger finger there. And if you guys can kind of see, they even put in the detail for his web shooter. I think it might be easier to see on this one. Yeah. So they sculpted that detail in right there. That looks cool. So that's his hands. On his hips, he's got ball joints, so like what we normally see on Marvel Legends, so that's, you know, pretty standard. They will spin up here at the upper thigh. A single joint at the knee, so he can only go up that far. So no double jointed knees. What that means for, you know, us that we like to pose our figures in dynamic poses, it means we have to work a little harder. You know, that's double jointed knees, double jointed elbows. They just make it so much easier, and I really wish they would have taken the time to give him this. No rotation at the calf or anything like that, or at the upper calf. Boot goes up, it goes down. No ankle pivot. You know, the selects are hit or miss. You know, a lot of times they do nice treads on his boots, just so you guys can kind of see. A lot of times they do really, really well. They give us great articulation, like the Ultron Select. Great articulation on that figure. This guy, well, I'll get to it in a second. And then he also has a holster over here, which I haven't shown that off yet. Really nice detailed holster, and you see a little bit of blue there. That's actually sticky tack. Here's why. They give him a holster. His gun will fit fine in the holster. Then this strap is supposed to bend down and kind of clip into place. What ends up happening is it doesn't clip and it just pops off. Ready? Instant replay. Pops off. This piece is not big enough to fit in the hole. So unless you always have this closed and glue it, or you do what I do, put a little bit of tack underneath and try to get it to stay, you know, that's what you're left with. So I'm not sure. I might actually just cut that off. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with that yet. The other gun fits very nicely in his holster up here on his belt, and the holster itself is really nice too. So let's talk about how he holds his guns, because he's got two of them. He's got two gun hands. Alright, so this gun, the pistol, M9, whatever you want to call it, look, it doesn't really fit very well in his hand. His finger won't, there it goes. His finger goes in the trigger, but look how he's holding it. I don't know if you guys can see that. The way he's holding it, his hand is crooked like that. It should be like that. And we don't have a wrist hinge to correct that, so you have to correct it kind of like with the arm. And then to me, it doesn't look right. You guys might disagree. Maybe that's fine for you. You know, I'm not a fan of that. I mean, I really wish we could have got a little bit better. Like I said, they gave him a wrist hinge, it would have been easier. It reminds me of the problems we had with the Phantom X arms holding his guns, how they were crooked. This hand will hold his gun too. Again, not very well. You have to kind of work with it and get the finger in there. And that's a little bit better. So I'm not sure. Maybe this hand is, and I just lost this gun. Maybe that hand is supposed to hold that one. His Magnum, again, he'll hold it. It's not in there very securely. He will drop this if I move him around. That does look better, I will say that. And he just dropped his gun. So let me see if I can find those real quick. I always tend to lose guns and weapons when I do reviews. It's really kind of annoying. Anyway, I can only find one right now, so we're going to go back and we'll show you this one in this hand. Again, this one, it will go in his hand, but it just doesn't look right to me. So again, I don't know if it was the way the gun is molded or the way the hand's molded. I think if we had like a wrist hinge, it would have helped. But, you know, that's basically how he holds his guns. Should you guys get the figure? Well, before we get on it, let's talk about scale. This is another thing that most people want to know. Well, how is this guy going to look next to my existing Marvel Legends? Because that's, you know, a lot of times why we buy these figures is to kind of pair them up with our other ones. So I have two figures I'm going to compare them to. The first figure, and while I'm doing this, I'm kind of trying to look for that gun too. The first figure I'm going to compare him to is actually the Spider-Man line Venom that they put out. That was supposed to be like the Scorpion Venom. because most of us probably have him. So let's see height-wise how he looks. And I have Scorpion Venom kind of standing straight up. So overall height, his shoulders come just underneath his head. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let's put them back to back. Yeah, they're back to back. So you guys can see that the Flash Venom is definitely taller than Scorpion Venom. Now you can play around with that though. You can kind of get the Flash Venom maybe in a leaning pose to kind of correct that. But unless you have a figure like this that you're going to stand straight up, because you're probably going to have him in a leaning pose too, it's really difficult. So that's one figure. Next, let's look at the McFarlane Spider-Man with this guy and see how he stands up. Because McFarlane Spider-Man is supposed to be a tall figure. And I actually don't usually use the McFarlane Spider-Man. I have him in my Spider-Man display, so I use the Fearsome Foe Spider-Man, which is the same one, and I've shown this off in a couple of my other videos. This is my Fearsome Foe Spider-Man with a head sculpt that was taken from a different Spider-Man figure. And in my opinion, looks better than the McFarlane Spider-Man. Alright, so here's him. And I have him standing straight up. Look how much taller Venom is than him. I mean, again, I have the legs on Venom spread even more than Spider-Man. I have his closer together, make him kind of taller. Look how much bigger he is in scale with the Spider-Man. And the Spider-Man is a tall, skinny Spider-Man, and that's fine. He's supposed to be, you know. And some people have said that this Venom, you know, it's Flash Thompson. He was a big, you know, big jock. Of course, he's going to be bigger with the symbiote, and you can make it work. I agree with that. Yeah, you can. You know, you just have to kind of play around with it. You know, mess around with your angles. But standing like straight up next to each other, they're going to look out of scale. All right. I wish they would have made him a little shorter, and I'm tempted to reach out to customizers out there, and see if they can maybe take like half an inch off of his thighs to make him shorter. I mean, I don't know how else to do it, you know. But he looks cool, you know, and that's the thing. He looks great. He does look good for photography, for like your vanilla poses, but for dynamic poses, he's gonna have a hard time. You're gonna have to really work at it. So anyway, that's my review. I'm sorry it was so long. I know it's going on 18 minutes, but I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Should you get the figure? If you're a Venom fan, if you're a Marvel Select fan, then yes. If you want to put him in with your Marvel Legends, I'm gonna say go see the figure in person first before you make your decision, because had I seen the figure in person, I may have not gotten him, you know, only because he is so much bigger. I heard that he was bigger, and I was like, oh, well, I can make it work, But seeing him pose with the Spider-Man figure right next to him, and I see how much bigger he is, it's not going to work for me. So he'll be on his own. Maybe I'll throw him in a display with like the Hulk or something like that, because that would work. But that's it. Anyway, sorry. I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and I hope you guys come check us out at mucollectorclub.com. Again, let me know in the show notes. Do you guys want to see the packaging when I do reviews? Do you not care about that? Or do you just want to see the figures? Let me know what you guys think. Alright, have a good night, and take it easy.